Hey, have you ever done a process like a hypnosis process, an NLP process, or something you've read in a book and said, well, that didn't blooming work? Well, that's rubbish. I want to go into that deeper because they do work. And I know why they don't work. And it's really quite simple, really. Because it has to be simple for me to be able to understand it. So, if you're with me and you want to find out more, please listen after this. Okay, so welcome to the Personal Development Unplugged podcast with me, Paul Clough. What's it all about? Well, it's about using things like NLP, hypnosis, all sorts of mind stuff to understand how people do what they do. The people who do excellent things, deconstructing what they do so we can learn how to do it. And also learning how to deconstruct the things that we do which we're not happy with, so we can change it, we can learn from it, and all in all, learn to be the best person, the best us, the real us that there can be. So no more a wisher or a coulda. No, these wishes, your wishes, are going to turn into dreams, and those dreams are going to turn into reality. So listen here at the Personal Development Unplugged podcast with me, Paul Clough. Okay.
Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, my friends, back. We're back, and I'm back in my little studio. Hopefully you can tell the difference. Well, hopefully you can't tell the difference. And back in the UK. And here's the thing. And I talked about this on a recent Q&A with my son's Mind Mastery group. And it was all about what happens when you use a process. Maybe it's a hypnosis process. Maybe it's one of my free hypnosis tracks or somebody else's. And it doesn't work straight away. This is for X, Y, Z, and you listen to it and you wake up or you come out of that trance and you go, that didn't work. That didn't seem to happen, did it? And the thing is, we get disillusioned, don't we? I do it because it happens to me. Because I'm a work in progress too. And I have my little issues come up. I still have issues from the past that I continue to just chip away on. Because I know when I work with clients, I have them on my website, within 1 to 3 sessions. And generally I get there. I haven't worked with anybody for 3 sessions in donkey's blooming years of donkeyness. But I think that's different sometimes because I'm doing it with somebody. And all they have to do is to have the will to do whatever it takes. And I can guide them and I ask those difficult questions. Sometimes they're difficult, but they're not difficult. They're just ones sometimes that we don't realize we've got the answers to. Sometimes it's difficult for us to do that, to answer our own questions. I know I find that quite difficult. And that's why I use my journal, I think. That's where I get my answers from. But it didn't work straight away. So obviously the process doesn't work. No, that's wrong. These processes work. You see, here's a sort of example. When I work with my clients, I take a sort of personal history. It's not a deep personal history, but it's about just the issue. But one of the things I will say to them is, where do you experience these problems? And they might say, well, I experience them at work, when I'm meeting somebody or when I'm socializing. And I get this feeling, I get that feeling there, and I do this and I do that. And that's where I want to change. Okay, fine. Then we carry on with our work. And they'll come back the second week, to my disappointment, basically, because it didn't go in 1 week or 1 session. And then they'll say, well, I don't really think anything's worked, Paul. I know we thought after the first session things had changed, but I haven't noticed a difference. So, okay. Now, I know it's not big-headed because when you've done this enough, if you've had a good session or not. You get a feeling, you get a sense, you get that intuition, certainly if things aren't going well. And I haven't had that for years. So I ask, Well, you were saying that when you go to meetings, you used to get that feeling. Have you been to meetings last week? And they'll go, oh, yeah, I've been to a couple of meetings. Yeah, there's no problem there. And what about when you were talking socially to people? Well, no, I haven't really gone out socially that much. Oh, well, yeah, of course I did. I went out Friday. That was fine. Oh, I see. And you can see the look on their face because it's like a recognition. And what it is to me is the old normal, which used to be their issue, has now been replaced with a new normal. And if you've got a new normal, the old normal doesn't exist. You can't have two normals, can you? Existing at the same time. So you've now got the new normal. And you forget about the old normal that quickly because you're living in the now or now-ish. But you're different. You're a different person and you're experiencing the world differently. And you know what happens when you look at the world different? It's different. It looks different. It is different. And therefore you start, as with the issue, where it used to start in one little place and it generalizes into other places, the same wonderful phenomena, if I can say it, is here. You make a change at that specific issue level, at the root cause, which changes that one, and it generalizes into other areas. But one of the things I find is, when I'm working with a client, I make sure they've got the right intention. But I do find, and I've done it in the past, and I know from experience, when people are just listening to processes on a hypnosis, they're doing it by rote. I say that again. They're doing it by rote, or they're just doing it without setting intention. What they're doing is they're going, okay, I've got a comfortable chair. No one's going to disturb me because that's what you asked for, Paul. And I'm going to press play. Go on, do it to me. And their mind wanders and sometimes they fall asleep and things like that. And then they wake up and go, well, seems a bit different, but I don't know. But what got me is, or what gets me is, if you'd only just sat down with that intention a little bit more, be a little bit more specific, a little bit like, okay, I've got the room that I won't be disturbed in. I've got the time to spend on this. And my intention is to use this process to clear X, Y, Z, or whatever it is. And I want you, my unconscious mind, to do it for me and with me. Press play. So now you're setting your intention and what your expectations are. And I think that is one of the things that sometimes we just say go by rote and don't actually set our intention and set our expectations. Because when you set your intention, you tend to get it. And when you set your expectations, which is a form of intention, isn't it? You tend to get it because your unconscious mind goes, now I know what we're doing. I thought you were just going to have a lay down. You were going to listen to Cluffy for a bit. No, we're both going to listen to Cluffy. See, that's what happens. And the other thing is, I think sometimes, because if you were working with me, I'd be taking you down to the root cause of some kind anyway. Not to experience it, but to notice the one thing that when disappeared will allow all that issue to completely disappear. So the core issue, the real specific core issue, which we get your unconscious mind to find the root cause of. Okay? But sometimes a lot, don't I? Did say that. We don't dig deep enough. I don't feel very good. I feel a bit anxious. There you go, press play. So we're doing it by rote and we're not digging deeper. And I think sometimes we need to just think, what is causing this? How would I like to be? And if I know how I like to be, that's what I'm not at the moment. So now I know what I'm not, but how am I? So let's just notice the feelings. This is the feeling I don't like. This is how it could be a different way. Now, I wonder. And that's all there is. And I do it with journaling. And that's what my journaling gets me to go deeper. Because I ask questions like, what do I really want? How do I really want it? Because sometimes we forget that. We just want to get rid. Well, when you get rid, you leave you pull the old root up, the old root cause, pull that weed up, pull the whole root up. But there's a hole in the ground. And we need to fill it with something to germinate. We've got to put a seed in, as it were. A seed in of the things that we want. And then we're going to look after it, nurture it, and let it grow. What a lovely metaphor, isn't it? You can all become gardeners with me. But the thing is, we need to know. So if you start to think about what you want and how you want it, you start to think about it more often. And remember, what you think about most of the time is what you get, whether you want it or not. So if you start thinking about what you want and how you want it instead of what you've got and what you don't want, and sometimes you don't have to do a journal. Sometimes it's a matter of asking that question and just getting on with your life a little bit, like going for a walk, a run, going to some drawing, some painting, maybe just listen to music, just take a break to break this old pattern up and then come back. But I do suggest you write those questions down, because that, even if you don't write the answers down, but you should, and we should all over us, but that's one of the things I think once you get that inspiration of the answer, maybe it's just in this particular area where it really started. That's all you need to do. But more importantly, I think it's how you want to be and what do you want. So what do you want and how do you want it to be? What type of feelings do you want? What type of behaviors do you want? What belief, if I was like that, what belief would I have? I'd have to have a belief like, it's okay, I can do this if I was going to be the way I want to be. And the thing is, when you do that, I think your unconscious mind gets a better understanding and looks a little bit deeper for you. Even if you said, I wonder if my unconscious mind went to that root cause and found out what I needed back then, I've got now. And realize there's a better way, like how I want it to be now. Notice how safe and comfortable I am. And you can talk to your unconscious mind like this. Notice how safe and comfortable I am when I think of how I want to be, with these behaviors, with these emotions, and with this belief, how much safer I am in the world. Because your unconscious mind is going to go, oh, bloody hell, this is so much better than what I've been doing. How can I implement it? When can I? Right now, please, press play. Here's my intention. I'm going to change this. Let's use this one process now. And then it's that reviewing it honestly, dispassionately. And that's where I use my puzzle book to write it down. So it could be in a journal where I write those questions. It could be in my puzzle book where I write the questions. Then I come back to it and actually be honest. How much more am I near how I want to be, what I want, with that belief? And again, set your intention to really look at how you've been. Because when you look back, you remember the new norm? Because the new norm might be not exactly what you want, and you got to do it again. And that's where I think sometimes we're going, like stripping the onion away, getting below the level into that specific core issue, but also knowing how we want to be. Because sometimes we think this is how we want to be because that's what we think people tell us how we want to be. We see it on the news. We see it on bloody Facebook and all that show reels of everyone else. No, but how would I really like to be? What you can do also is ask a friend. Ask somebody after a few days. Just say, have you noticed anything different about me? Don't give them a clue in what specific area of your life or what context. Obviously, if it's at work, ask a work colleague. If it's at home, ask somebody at home. But just say, have you noticed anything different about me? Have you noticed that I've been behaving differently? And if the answer is no, the answer is no. But if the answer is, what you tend to find is, because you are in that new norm, you don't notice it, but people will say, I've noticed you've been a bit more relaxed. You've been more comfortable to be around. Or you've been doing your work so much better. You suddenly stepped up to the mark. And then you go, that must be changing. I wonder what else I could be. And it's that constant, never-ending 1% of getting a little bit better. Never-ending improvement, isn't it? Constant and never-ending improvement, that 1%. And the thing about it is, this thing about instant change, and change can be instant. I believe that absolutely, truly, 100%. When people work with me, I believe that they can change in this instant. If I didn't, shouldn't be doing the bloody work, should I? How long would you give your best friend if they were trying to do something different? Maybe they're trying to lose a bit of weight. Maybe they're trying to go to the gym. Maybe they're trying to just do some type of change. How long would you give them before saying, just give up? You wouldn't, would you? Because your best friend. You'd support them. You'd try to find a better way. Let me help you. Let me support you. I'll come with you. Oh, by the way, did you notice you've actually done this? Maybe you didn't notice it. I saw you running the other day. You're looking good. Or I just noticed you're looking different. And that's a kind thing to say. You're looking better. Must feel good to you've lost some weight. You must feel better for that. Get them to recognize this new norm. Yeah. You see, there's the oldest little example people give is, how long would you give a baby to walk? How much time would you give a baby to walk? Because when they start to get up, they're bloody useless, aren't they? Their legs go this way, their head goes that way, and woof, they do a face plant, don't they? And then they get up, and boof, they fall backwards. And then when they do start to walk, they walk one pace and then fall over. Oh, blooming heck. That's it. Too long. Too long. You've had at least a week to practice this. We don't, do we? We support them. We pick them up. We dust them off. We're there for them all the way. And we encourage them with every blooming breath. So maybe you could do that with your best friend. I haven't got a best friend. Yes, you have. Inside. Your best friend. Inside. Your unconscious mind. And you see, your best friend is always going to notice what you're thinking. Remember, as we said right earlier on, what you think about most of the time is what you get, whether you like it or not. So, set a little bit of time for thinking how you want to be, how you want it, and do it with all your senses. See what you'll see, the visual side. Hear what you'll hear your voice, hear your inner voice. Even when you see the pictures you would make in your mind, you'd want to make in your mind with having made that change right now. Smell the world differently. Taste that success. And put that all together and feel what it would feel like. What emotions you have. That belief that's there. And you only have to do that for a few minutes a day. Or a few minutes every couple of hours. And it only takes 30 seconds to just go back into that lovely visualization, whether you see it or whether you don't, and you're just aware of it, or you see it in 20/20 vision. Doesn't matter. Because you practice it, and practice makes permanent. But the thing about it is your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and real life. And all of a sudden it's going, I got it now. Sometimes your best friend has to see it a few times to get it. So schedule this practice. Maybe once you've got an understanding of this, and maybe you set your intention, this time before you press play, you go, my intention is to let go of this issue and be something like this, or something better. And just see that visualization. Feel the feelings. See what you'll see. Hear what you hear. Smell, taste, and feel it. And then do the process again. And maybe just ask yourself a question. How can I get all these intentions, this lovely positive intention, and feel the way I want to feel and change to be? You fill in the blank of that. And you might suddenly find, which is what normally happens, is maybe another process, or you're looking down that list of all those 50 plus hypnosis tracks that I've got, and other people's, but we'll talk about mine because I like mine. But you might go down and go, oh, actually, that's a different one. I'll try that. And sometimes that's the one. I can remember just as an aside, I was doing this work and I was writing in my journal what I was thinking about or how I wanted to be. And then all of a sudden, in my mind, came a process that I haven't used for, again, donkey's years. I've used it now and again, and it's a wonderful process. But it was all about how you deal with criticism. And what I was dealing with wasn't criticism, but it was in a way. It was the way I was seeing events. And this wonderful process takes away all the fudge, all the stuff that you make up, and only allows you to see, call it the truth as best we can, the facts. And then you make a judgment, and then you make a decision how to be. Well, if you're deciding on only facts and you take all the emotional stuff out of it, you can make some bloody good decisions, can't you? And I did that process, and I thought, I'm learning so much. Now, where did that process come from? It came from my unconscious mind, my best friend, because suddenly it said, oh, Cluffy, you've been doing all this work and we've been doing the wrong blooming one. This is the one to do. Well, words to that effect. And I did it, and I didn't take very long, and I felt so much different, or so much more different. In fact, I can't even remember what the issue is, and that's the great thing about this. When you get the right process, you can't remember the bloody issue. It's gone. And the new norm is the new norm. And then you work on that new norm to get a better new norm. So all I wanted to do in this podcast is don't be disillusioned when things don't work straight away. Sometimes we just have to question ourselves, our intention. Did we dig deep enough? Did we put enough effort in? Did we have the will to do whatever it takes? Did we see what we want, not what we don't want? What we want. Did we make a note and see and visualize how we want it? Sometimes break the pattern of those negative loops, those thoughts that go into a loop and a loop and a loop. Break the pattern, do a pattern interrupt, which is like stopping and pausing, walking, running, painting. Dance if you like. I love it. Saw a meme. Have you danced today? Why not? Yeah. Those things, and then go back into it. If you're having any problems with this, by the way, and you've done a little bit of this and you've still got a problem, please do let me know. Let me know what the issue is of as best you can. You don't have to go into pages and pages. I don't need lots of context. I need to know how you feel, how you want to feel, how you want it, and where the context affects you. And I'll come up with a process or find inside me that process that I've known for years. And we'll go through it together. We'll go through it together in a podcast. Or better still, sometimes, that's not better still, because I want to share it with everybody. You can always get a therapist along and help you through it. And if you can't see them face to face, we all work online as well. So let me know, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com if there's anything you need just to help you through. There you go. I hope you enjoyed this. And enjoyment is not necessarily, I hope you found it interesting. That's more like it. And I hope you found it a little bit more, gives you a bit more encouragement to dig a little deeper, to find what you want and how you want it, and then go get it. Set that intention and have the will to do whatever it takes to get there. That's all we have to do. Okay, my friend, if you like this and you did find it interesting, please do share it with, I always say, share it with all your friends, but that's too much, isn't it? Just share it with 2 people. That would be awesome if you just shared it with 1 person, 2 people, 3, or maybe 4. You've got a share button normally on that blooming old phone of yours. If you listen to it on a phone or whatever, there's a share button on the app. If not, just have a chat. Tell people. And the thing is, when you do share and you do tell, you are learning and you're that little bit of selfless service, because it will come back and repay you so many-fold more, if that's a term. Fold. You always say, come back tenfold, but 10x, I think. Is that the right way to say it now? It comes back X times. So do please share. It'll make me feel really grateful, because I am grateful. But I'm more grateful about your time and our connection together, because I want to see you succeed and have the life you deserve. So until next time, my friends, I will be with you. Now it's time to fly.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.